looking dapper.
It doesn't seem that I can rotate that around. Okay, so what I'm going to have to do then is pull this down. Sure, we're going to need to remove the piping around this area. And then I want to remove this power line there. Okay. Swine flu dies at 38 degrees Celsius. Oh, I stand corrected. That's actually 40 degree water. That wouldn't actually be too hot. Might be a bit hot, but we can handle a lot higher than 40 degrees. I mean, our internal body temperature is around 40 degrees. But I stand corrected. Swine flu will apparently die at the sort of temperatures that you might be washing your hands at. Oh dear. You've got water everywhere. Rip my link to the scalding temperature graph. Yeah, Nightbot doesn't like people posting links. But I found it interesting that you mentioned it, though. Right, so we want this water to be coming up there. And then, annoyingly... Well, I guess what we could do here is actually have a liquid bridge. We could, in fact... Can I put it there? Ha! I can. And I can hide it behind everything. Yeah, that'll do. Alright. Womp. And then down. And then we will pop this in here. Deodorizer. I think we can put the deodorizer just about here. Just to handle the odd bit of polluted oxygen that's coming out of this. I need to get this area mopped as well. Because where we got a couple of things over here that all leak down. Leak down there? No, we're fine. Need to do a little bit of digging down here. Actually, we don't want to dig this, otherwise it'll prevent this from pooling underneath the pump. But I actually am genuinely quite surprised at the idea that you only need 40 degrees C to disinfect the bacteria. Are there other things that equally need such low amounts of ooh, that's a little bit rough down there now. Such low amounts of temperature? Well, I say low amounts, but I guess it isn't that low. To disinfect, like, is that common amongst bacteria? Because I was genuinely quite confident that would have very little effect. I will also say that I was quite confident that swine flu wasn't actually something you would be able to easily wash off anyway. I was thinking it was more like a virus than just bacteria, but I think that came from the whole flu thing. Yeah, people can swim in this. They basically hold their breath. Yep, the liquid should be going the right direction. I mean, it's not going to go down in here, unfortunately. And that is actually a problem, because if it doesn't... Now, the one big issue here is this water might just circle. And that would be bad, because if the water circles, then it will create... Okay, we basically need to enforce that the water goes a certain direction down here. So, what I'm going to do, liquid pipes, I'm going to remove these. Now, the reason why we have to, well, we really do need to enforce this, is because if this is pumping out hotter water, every time it goes through it, it heats it up by 19 degrees, there's a potential that some of the water would cycle. When it got down here, some would split off in that direction, some would split off in that direction, and go back around and around and around. Eventually, some of the water might get to a temperature where it would melt the pipe. So, probably wise if we use a valve, which I could pop in here, or I could pop up here if I wanted to. This is kind of what the Jeffries tubes are there for, though, so let's pop this back. How far back do I push it? I pushed it back that far. Yeah. The door should be deconstructed. Why did that not get pushed back? There we go. We'll use a valve. It'll be like full open, but the valves are one way. So I'm enforcing that the liquid has to travel in one direction. Oh, bloody hell. Of course, whenever I do that, I need to make sure I mop everything up. Melting pipe sounds like fun. Let's do it. No, let's not. Take care, Dracnir. Aavak, double check the direction of the liquid bridge. It seemed to be going in the right direction, but I'll double check again. Yep, going in on that side, going out on this side. Coming out of the machine, going into the liquid bridge, coming out of the liquid bridge, going wherever else it needs to go. Little bits of polluted oxygen in here, but that's fine. And we want a liquid valve. Going in, going out. There we go.
Looking dapper.
Thank you very much for the resubscription, Emily Davis. Oh, mad. Oh, Leftler thinks they may have found bad information about the 38C. I mean, I can't corroborate it. I don't have time to check Google Foo about that, but it's interesting. You know, you should always challenge things anyway. I am curious enough that I will check it out, especially because I thought poorly of someone for what may well have been completely right for them to have thought. Well, actually, in my defense, I thought poorly of them because they were basically attacking someone over it, but still, I did I definitely did say that. Well, that's silly. That wouldn't have helped them anyway. I didn't say it to them, which I mean, there's pros and cons on that one. Some might say that, well, you should have said it to them rather than after they'd already left, but wasn't looking to start a confrontation. Was more looking just to what's the right word? You know what? I can't think of the English word for it. Where something isn't important enough to actually try and have an argument about, but where someone has been support sounds like the wrong word, but that's kind of what I was trying to do. Oh, hey, a Mad Hatter. A Mad Hater, actually, it's not two T's. You're a silent, long-time viewer. Tenderos. Right, new question from someone who hasn't watched much of this game. Why are there doors between each room? Raise one tile. Yes, it's to contain spills. When there's a spill of liquid, it stops at this point, because this is allows gas through but does not allow liquid through. This one allows everything through. But same for this little area. If someone, for example, vomited or wet themselves up here, the water wouldn't get into my clean water supply. There you go. An interesting point, Mayani, though, that warm water does help clean your hands more effectively than cold water. I'm not sure how much more effectively, though. I mean, generally speaking, if you're washing your hands, you should be using soap, because it's the soap that's going to clean your hands better, at least in regards to in the example of using the lavatory, you should be using soap to clean your hands, not just rinsing them. I'm not sure how much of a difference warm versus cold water will make, given the situation. It's generally the hand sanitizer you're using that's going to have the impact, I would have said. But again, clearly, I don't know as much about the way germs propagate as I thought I did, and I feel suitably chastised. I'm going to have to find out. I refuse to remain ignorant. Right, it is time, I think. We're going to... Enough of this is now cool that this place I'm not worried about anymore. So, with that in mind, time for us to... Well, simply put, dig everything up in here. And then replace this area with some hydroponics. Ooh, do I have enough for that, though? Ew. They'll have to be iron. There we go. And once again, I'll pop in the same things as I had before, basically. We'll get these, one there, one... Ooh, ice block. Increase the core and reduce the stress. Must be sculpted by a duplicant. Does it eventually melt? Melt over time if not kept sufficiently chilled. Okay. I actually quite like that. I mean, where you'd put it, I don't know, but that's actually kind of cool.
Looking
Good.
dapper.
Let's get this place cleaned out. And do a bit more digging. But this is now complete. We can actually just remove that. Power. We want to remove the power cables all the way up to there. And then liquid pipes as well. There we are. I want to remove these all the way up that far. Now, to get that one done, we're going to need a ladder just reaching up a little bit, but that should be fine. Thank you very much, Space Deebs. Yeah, I started streaming at 1. I'm so sorry you had to just do that. My lord. But that's fine. Plumbing overlay. No, germ overlay. I mean, it has got... Is it only one type of germ will live in a place? Is that perhaps what the reason is? There's more slime lung there, and so the slime lung colony effectively killed off the food poisoning. That could be it. Carbon dioxide, iron ore there. It's probably just iron ore. I'm not seeing any more neutronium pedestals. Oh, no, here we go. What's this? A cool steam vent. Emitting steam. Eruption period, 146 seconds every 166 seconds. Active period requires analysis. That is pretty awesome. It's actually generating water. Just clean water. That's amazing. I don't know what this stone does, though. And I have no idea what all of this is, either. So let's continue trying to... Can I dig it? And let's see what's up there, maybe? Right, let's get these uprooted. Same here. Uproot you. And then we're going to move you across. I would like another one stored in here. I mean, I could store one in there, specifically to help with the heat, but we'll see. Sure, go ahead and just get me copper ore, please. Rather copper. Right, I'm going to want a storage bin for the specific seeds that I'm going to have in here, and a farm station. We're also going to need lighting if I'm going to have... no, come on. There we are. If we're going to have... bristleberries in there. Yeah, that looks about right. You can use ice sculptures to cool down your clean water supply. Put it on mesh tiles on top of it. I mean, I've got ice. I'm bringing ice across and snow and stuff and letting that just go into it. But yeah, I guess so. What's the germiness of this? It's actually not that bad. It's not as bad as I thought it would be, at the very least. Right, with that done, the slime lung germs in here, they're dying, but yeah, they're basically sharing around. They're moving around a little bit, but they are dying because they're not really able to survive in that environment. Got sand down there. We've got plenty of stuff down here as well. It's not too bad. Oh, there we go. It is literally just ladders. Okay, well, can I dig it all out? Starting at the top, let's dig down. I do want to get over there and find out what that is, but rather warm in there. We should be able to get over there, though. That's going to pretty much make our colony effectively self-sufficient, I would say. How much algae have we got? 30 kilograms. That's fine. Got plenty then. I am going to need to get rid of this, though. Where's my puffed? My puffed is living down there. That's fine. I'm going to go ahead and dig this out, though. It's about time to get that roof set up properly. Copy this over, copy the settings, Bob. And let's have a look. This should now be a farm. Yes, it is. Copy these settings. And all the way across. There we go. Not illuminated, that's fine. They will be soon. Especially once we hit that copper there. Elzen has mastered the farmer's job. Oh, that's actually good. I get you to be a seasoned farmer. But I don't think I want that just yet. Not everyone can do this job, though. Elzen, can you do that? Not qualified for the apprentice miner position. Really? I wonder why not. You can do that one. Why can't you take this job on? Maybe it's something you won't do. Interesting. Yeah, some of them are just marked that they can't do it. Okay. Well, you've already got this one. You've definitely got that one. I could make you a courier for a while. There you go. What's a puffed? A puffed is one of these. They breathe in polluted oxygen and poop out slime. A puffed plus a morb is effectively infinite slime. Which in turn is effectively infinite water. which in turn is effectively infinite oxygen. Let's have a look at this. There we go. Gradually filling this up. What's the heat like in this room? It's quite hot, especially because it's moving that heat around. Oh, it's incredibly hot. And it's mostly... Well, actually, it's not terrible in terms of the what gas it is, but you know what? There's one. This produces CO2 at a certain temperature, but I could just, if I was pumping it out, then this room would effectively not have any particular temperature. It would be a vacuum. Regardless, I do want to shift it out, so let's pop you down there. And I would also like a utility thermal regulator. Right about there. Oh, no, no, no. Wait. Well, actually, I don't mind that being made of gold, but that can't go there. We want to run power across. And then... I mean, the thermal regulator is going to warm this room up. Which is, you know, kind of annoying, but... if I pop that... Any room I put this in is going to heat up. It also uses a reasonable amount of power. So I guess it makes more sense to have it in this room. After that, I would like to... Well, I don't actually mind if this gas is... particularly if it's bleeding out its temperature, it's fine to me. I could just push it out of the room and down here and then hope the Weezewarts will take care of it. We'll see. We'll see how that works in a second. There we go. Cools the gas pipe through it, outputs heat in its immediate vicinity. But how much does it cool the gas moving through it? We'll see. Hello, Roger, Tom 10. Have a look at my ventilation overlay. There's no gas in it at the moment. Alright, well... I can set this up to work like this, where... Oh, I mean, I've got 3 different places where this gas is potentially desired. I could have a little gas valve here, Where is the gas sensor? Atmos sensor. Becomes active or on standby when gas pressure enters a certain range. No, thermosensor. How big is that? That's actually not that big. Okay. One there. Well, actually, I need it a little bit somewhere else, but let's have it towards the middle of the room. I mean, there's 2 Weezeworts in here. It's going to be able to handle that, but let's cancel you. Oops. Cancel you. Then we will place down the gas shutoff. And finally, the gas vent. There we go. We want to hook up automation. To the wire display. Where is that? Not sure where that was, but right. Current temperature. Active if above 25 degrees. Let's actually have a look at the gas that's moving through. This is 29, 25, 25, 27. Natural gas at 28. 28. Gas going in is like 43. So we're gradually pulling more of this gas out, but I wonder if an Atmos sensor would be able to... I kind of need more rooms really for this. Okay. Okay, we can make this into something interesting. I'm going to need to push the gas out here into its own little room. That's what I think we're going to need to do over here. Have its own wee room. Okay, let's have a look at this. Eventually, this room will just become a vacuum, so the heat won't be an issue in there. But have a look at the heat being moved around. Well, I mean, ultimately, the Weezeworts will actually deal with any amount of heat that I'm pushing down from up here, so it doesn't really matter. Yes, you do need to worry about electrical shorts from certain wires. Like, I mean, every wire has a certain amount of, based on what it's made of, how much heat it can tolerate. And they will just eventually melt if it's too warm in the room that they're in. Let's go ahead and dig all of this out. That better not be on a 9. Good. But make it a 7, because I do want it done in the realistically near future. This, however, go ahead. Oh, no. There we go. We're going to make a little gas room over here. The idea will be that the vent from the room here will pump the CO2 into that room, It'll just be cycled around until it's cool, and then it'll be pumped back out. Yeah, they basically hold their breath. They can walk in a vacuum, yeah. They don't like it, but they can. Though right now, it won't actually become a vacuum because it can't push all of the air in here. For example, this vent is now overpressurized, so it won't allow any more through. So while this is extremely low, down here is super high pressure, and elsewhere reasonably. It's like, wow, 2,600 over there. CO2 over on that side that's being pushed out. Got a lot of CO2. Oh my lord. The CO2 in there is staggering. Not sure why there's quite so much CO2 in there. I mean, usually the idea is that these doors will allow gases to move out and that eventually it'll all head down here. But clearly that's not the case. Something of a problem. I mean, realistically, I should be doing a lot more about the air in my base. One thing we can do is I could build any kind of O2 producing structure in here, and that'll push the CO2 out of the room, which wouldn't be a problem. Another thing I can do is actually just cycle air. So, for example, if I've got any kind of pressure over here, we'll move it around. So I could have an O2 room that is delivering air to these areas. Kipper RL, I'm thinking of buying this game or Surviving Mars. Which do you think is better buy and why? Well, it would all come down to what game you wanted. Because they're both very different games. This one's more of a colony management, but on a much smaller scale. Like Surviving Mars is a macro scale colony survival game, whereas this is a much smaller game, smaller scale rather. Got 39.5 kilos of life loaf. That is ridiculous. But what the rest I got? I don't understand that. I've got quite a lot of lice coming in. At the moment, we seem okay with all of that. Wouldn't all the air being pumped out of that room be bad, as the heat would have nowhere to transfer to and just build up on the machines? Or does that not matter? Ooh, that's actually a good point. I hadn't really considered that. That is a good point, actually. Yeah, ultimately, though, I think the best thing we're going to be able to do is just to get an actual oxygen generation room and push that oxygen around the rest of the base. For example, 2 O2 electrolyzers down here. Just a little bit apart. Maybe even more than that, actually. With a hydrogen hood up the top. Well, I guess you could just vent it. The hydrogen hood system doesn't really matter so much if you're willing to just isolate what which gas goes where. Like pump all the hydrogen outside the base, perhaps even out here. We can have a look at that. But I just realized that we are actually starting to run very, very low on clean water. So how about we set that up? I'm going to need to hook into this pipe. Alright, let's get this sorted. All the way across there. Then I'm going to deconstruct this pipe. And these pipes. A little bit concerned about that, actually. Yeah. All of a sudden, filthy water going everywhere. And it'll be the same if I break the pipes in these walls, unfortunately. But there's not much else for it. I do need to. What I can do is... And ultimately, that's what I would prefer. Let's get rid of this. I'm not sure I can take those pipes down without causing an issue here. It all comes down to whether this isolates water or not. If water can just drip down there, then we'd be in trouble. That being said, we're probably okay one way or t'other. No, I would rather use dirt for this, thank you. Well, let's find out. One for sciencing, I think. Liquid pipes. Bring that up. It's gonna be either good or bad. One of the two. There's only two outcomes. Good or bad ones. Insufficient oxygen generation. Out of algae. Well, we're gonna be trying to work on that. There's a way to build self-powering electrolyzers. Yeah, I know. But I'm not interested in trying to get that happening right now. That's a little bit OTT. Ooh. Actually, how much germs are in this? 0 surface germs. Huh. Very well then. Is there no germs in here? Very low amounts, actually. Extremely low amounts. Let's get everything disinfected, though. We've actually done really well with managing the germiness of this colony. I was really worried about that. Going into this, I figured that's going to be the end of this colony. Like, that's the thing that's going to make this, you know, really difficult for me to play. It's the big change to germs, but no, they've actually done a really good job of it. I'm not finding it hard to manage at all. But we do need to get water over there. So, the idea I had was to run the water pipe across there, and then through the Jeffries tube, and then down into this room. To achieve that, I'm going to need a couple of pipe bridges. One here.
Looking dapper.
One here. And ultimately, one there. Just run like this and straight down. Now there shouldn't be any germs in here. No. Oh, thank you very much, Lady Keatlina. Lady Sheelab has told me. I resubbed hours ago, but Twitch is just now realizing it. Loving you as always. Oh, thank you very much. Let's get that dug out. We're going to want our dupes to just go all the way across, like so. Actually, we're going to have to dig down a little bit deeper than that. Well, if we can, then we can. If we can't, we can't. We'll try and dig down like that. And we'll also want energy coming down here. Energy could be provided via this, or would that be a longer route? That would be a longer route. We'll run it across here. That shouldn't be an issue. And out and down. I'm making out of iron, but I don't mind at the moment. I like how they discover how to pronounce my name after I was like gone for 4 months. Hey Yo-Yo Dynamics. We'll be wrapping up the stream in a little bit because it is quite late. Or quite early in my case. There we go. We still haven't managed to build up a nice little area though. So let's go ahead and quickly throw together a gas pump. About here. Gas vent. About there. Gas pipe. Running across. And then some energy. That should be okay, though let me just check this setup. Potential power needed is actually quite a lot. It's okay some of the time, like when these aren't running, that's great. These doors though, wow, they pull a lot of power. They pull an awful lot of power actually. But it's incidental. They'll do it now and again and that's it. Once I have this whole system built up, I'll build a wall there, and then this area can just dump it all. But wow, this place is getting super bad. It is really quickly turning awful. We need more breathable gas. Let's have a look. Germ-wise, there's practically no germs out there anymore. I think we'd be okay to expose this briefly. But we will be resealing that then. Just there. We don't actually want to have anyone gathering any of that. But what we need to do is aim for some of the algae out here. Because there's quite a lot of it, actually. Some more down there that we could hit. I'll leave that for now. But we are going to grab this algae. Now, all of that needs to be an incredibly high priority. Go. Let's have a look. Yeah, that's fine. This hasn't been producing O2 for a long time, so hopefully we can get all that algae in. That is algae, isn't it? Yeah. At this point, I don't mind that this door... sorry, auto... is used. It's fine. If my dupes want to go out that door, it's absolutely fine. Oh dear, you have done a very big stupid. Please get out. Oh. Cassandra, why? Why do you do this to yourself? Deconstruct it once you get a chance. There we go. Getting some air again now. Have a look at the germs. I mean, it's pretty germy, but it's not awful at least. There we go. Oxygen production should go back up again. But we let that get really bad, like stupid bad. Almost consuming twice the amount we're producing. It would be nice if these produced oxygen and consumed like CO2. It's one of the things I like about Station E's. That, and then we should have fresh water moving through again. We do not have much in the way of bristleberries. Is it that we don't have enough, though? How many bristleberries? We've got 5.7 kilos of bristleberries. That's not actually that bad of a setup. We'll have to have a look, but... Right. All we need down here now is a liquid pump. It'll have to be made of iron. There we go. We've got oxygen going back up again in the important areas where people are working. And we're also producing refined copper. 435 kilos of refined copper, in fact. There we go. And once this is built, we'll be filling this area back up again. There we go. Almost, but you had to go back to... Damn it! I've got dusk caps around in here. I could let this little puffed out. Might be well worth it, actually. Right now, we could pump all the hydrogen outside. It would eventually cause issues for our puffed down here, but I don't think the animals can die until you have I want these like really low for now. Until you've wrangled them and they're a part of your colony. Okay, never mind. You're just doing it all. Right. Well, that kind of scuppers my plans. Could I get the priority on this one to be like super low there? There we go. Because what I would like is everything in here out of there. There we go. Because once all of this is out of the way, there's not going to be anything that there's potentially germy in there, because there's massive amounts of germs here. Something we really don't have to deal with. I mean, unfortunately, all of this is germy, so it's going to be causing germs somewhere, but there we go. Water's moving back through. Oxygen's building up. Excellent times. These airlocks will use energy if you hook it into the grid, and if you don't have energy in them, they act as manuals. You could just build them everywhere, but I like running my electric cables across the lines that doors are on. It just keeps my base a little bit tidier, and so as a result, if I put them in all the places that I've got these airlocks, it would use power. That said, I could happily upgrade that one. This would go nuts if I did, but sure, why not?